Truman Capote. Truman Struckfus Persons was born in 1924 in New Orleans. His parents, Lily Mae, Nina, Falk, and Archelaus Persons, divorced when he was 2 years old. He spent part of his childhood with various relatives in Monroeville, Alabama, and had a difficult relationship with his mother. In the early 1930s, he joined his mother and wealthy stepfather, José Garcia Capote, who adopted him in 1935, in New York City. Truman Capote emerged as a literary prodigy with the publication of his debut novel, Other Voices, Other Rooms, at the age of 23. Capote's flamboyant personality, coupled with his social skills, made him a fixture of high society and celebrity circles. However, his later years were marked by struggles with addiction and declining literary output. He died in 1984, leaving behind a legacy as one of the most innovative and influential writers of the 20th century. Capote was openly gay at a time when homosexuality was still widely stigmatized, especially in the Deep South where he was from. He was also a bon vivant with a caustic wit and dazzling array of social connections. Truman Capote cultivated friendships with many prominent figures in literature, film, and society, including Tennessee Williams, Andy Warhol, and Jackie Kennedy Onassis. His first published novel, Other Voices, Other Rooms, was acclaimed by critics. It stayed on the New York Times bestseller list for 9 weeks, selling more than 26,000 copies. The book is a sensitive, partly autobiographical portrayal of a boy's search for his father and his own sexual identity in the ghostly landscape of the Deep South. In 1958, Capote published Breakfast at Tiffany's, a novella that would become one of his most renowned works. The story, set in New York City, follows the enigmatic Holly Golightly and her unconventional lifestyle. It was first published in Esquire magazine in 1958, and then as a book, with several other stories. The 1961 movie adaptation starring the iconic Audrey Hepburn became an instant classic and was nominated for 5 Oscars. It was then selected in 2012 for preservation in the U.S. National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Capote's most significant literary achievement came with In Cold Blood in 1966, a groundbreaking work of narrative nonfiction. The book, which detailed the brutal murders of the Clutter family in Kansas and the subsequent investigation, established Capote as a master of the true crime genre. Increasingly preoccupied by journalism, Capote began researching the murders soon after they happened, and he spent 6 years interviewing the 2 men who were eventually executed for the crime. A movie adaptation came out in 1967. Capote's distinctive prose blended fiction and nonfiction, and he left a lasting legacy as a pioneer of literary journalism, which Capote referred to as new journalism. Moreover, Capote's talent for capturing the essence of complex characters in concise narratives showcased his ability to create deeply emotional and memorable stories. Truman Capote surrounded himself with the most famous, fashionable, and wealthy women in New York, whom he affectionately referred to as the Swans. However, when La Côte Basque, a selection from a projected social satire entitled Answered Prayers that he considered to be his masterpiece, appeared in Esquire in 1975, it raised a storm among friends and foes who were harshly depicted in the work. He became a social pariah, and his alcohol and drug problems worsened. The fallout from the published excerpts inspired the TV miniseries Feud, Capote vs. the Swans, released in January 2024. In 2005, actor Philip Seymour Hoffman appeared as Truman Capote in Capote. The biopic depicted the writer during the time he was doing research for In Cold Blood. Hoffman delivered a complex, honest performance that captured Capote's essence and mannerisms without caricaturing him, and which earned him an Oscar for Best Actor.